was working with a gentleman the other day as he was considering different employment offers in relation to his personal financial goals. What salary do I need to be targeting today and tomorrow to best plan for my future? And of all the jobs he was looking at, they all had a stock component to them. A sign-on bonus in stock options, access to the employee stock purchase plan. You buy the shares a little bit of a discount in many cases. And I know a lot of people think of these things as extra, but they are part of the total compensation package. X plus Y plus Z, salary plus stock plus benefits, that's your total compensation. And the goal is to get that number as high as possible, of course. And we kind of thought about what's the best way to drive each one of these things, and how do you, again, really know what it's worth. And we had an interesting approach of looking at choosing a job or job hunting, or even just trying to advance your prospects, not just as an employee offering value, but as an investor, especially if there's a stock component involved. A lot of companies, startups, raising a lot of money, their valuations are high. We've seen a big correction in a lot of technology stocks as of late. If you started there at the top of the market, at the top of the price when everything was, going, crazy, there's nothing wrong with that. You got a good job, working for a good company, but if the stock was at $250 a share like Facebook, then your sign-on bonus and your stock options were probably based on that current market value of $250, meaning your stock options were, exercise price of $250. If they gave you a 10-share sign-on bonus at $250 or $2,100, that's what it was based on. And now the stock's below 200, and it doesn't mean it can't come back, but those stock options are now worthless. The sign-on bonus that was $2,500 is now worth $2,000, provided you didn't sell it right away. And that doesn't sound like those things are moving in the right direction. That's just made that Y number, that stock compensation. The options are zero. They were worth maybe something if the stock were to keep going up. Now it's worth zero, so you get nothing for that. And then the bonuses has gone down quite a bit. So is there an opportunity to look at a company that, maybe it doesn't sound exciting, but maybe their stock price is depressed. Maybe they just had a down financing round at a startup. And that provides some interesting negotiation, but also investment planning items for it. So if a company would say, was it $100 a share, and they always give people, a $10,000 sign-on bonus, and they always give people 100 stock options to buy it at that current market price, the strike price of where you signed up at. Well, and then the stock's at 50, and now you're signing up. Well, instead of 100 shares at 100 for $10,000, they might give you 200 shares. They might give you the stock options at $50 strike price versus the 100, and that might prove to be a very interesting tactic to evaluate the potential growth for the stock price in terms of the company's prospects and personal financial planning situation. So in that example, again, if the stock was at 50 and now it's at 100, well, you've got your 200 shares, it's at 100, your 10,000 signing up bonus is now 20,000. Your stock options at your exercise price were 50, well, you can now pay the 50, exercise them, and sell them at 100 and gain the $50 gain, adding to your overall compensation package. So the thought is to look at opportunities as an investor. Certainly, negotiate for the best possible salary and benefits package. Certainly find a company that meets your values, that you enjoy working at, that gives you great growth prospects. But it may not even be a tiebreaker. It might be a real important piece. If you're given 1,000 stock options that you think might be worth $100,000 one day or $10,000 one day, but it turns out the stock went down 10% and now they're worth zero. Because the stock was maybe a little overvalued, maybe there's a lot of excitement about working there, the fundraising got ahead of itself. Well, you've just wiped out a piece of your compensation compared to working at a company that might be a great company, might be going through a down cycle, and using that low price to accumulate shares, as whether it be your sign-on bonus amount, whether it be the strike price, or whether it be the purchasing shares at a discounted price in hopes for improved returns and an overall compensation package in the future. The last kind of illustration of that is kind of a little bit of an exercise. Would you rather have a job that pays you $125,000 salary and 1,000 stock options at whatever strike price and, good benefits package versus, maybe a company that pays, 120,000 with 1,000 stock options at a depressed price that end up being worth something, versus, and the same benefits package as the other opportunity. The second one, even though you might have a lower salary of cash, might actually yield a better return for you down the road. If that one example you're making 125,000, the stock options are worth zero, that's what you get. But if that $120,000 job with the undervalued stock options that accelerate, is now worth, an extra 20,000 and you work there for 4 years, well, that's kind of the same, right? Maybe slightly different, but that's one way to look at it. So think of yourself as not just a job seeker or an employee, but also as an investor when looking at the total compensation package.